Good morning, natural gas. It's Wednesday, July the 15th, 2026. I'm Tim Beggins, president of Elk Trading Company. And for the spot August natural gas contract, we're currently trading at 288.40, down 2 cents or 0.72%. And as you can see, yesterday we opened and closed at basically the same level. So we've got basically indecision at this stage. Can we hold here? Can we form a bottom? The RSI is very, very low at this stage. It is warning that we are oversold, but are we going to get any help from the storage report tomorrow? Expectations are between 40 and 45 BCF. Last year, 47 BCF. The 5-year average, 45 BCF. So really need something in the 30s if we're going to be able to get this thing to bounce at all before expiration. Let's turn to the hourly chart. And as you can see, we're below the daily pivot, which came in today at 289.40. The RSI is trying to turn to the upside. We've been unable to get over first resistance at 293.80. So that's our target. If we can pass the pivot for today, if we can get over that 89.40, if we can push through there for 1 hour or more, then we can start pushing up maybe to that 293.80. Let's take a look at the front, the strip here. This is Novi March, and this is the super El Nino concerns. Novi March, once again, pushing lower here, down 3 cents to 355.80. The RSI is starting to approach an oversold condition, but as you can see, the trend continues to be lower. Let's take a look at the electricity, and here is ERCOT. We are currently looking at over 28,500 basically megawatts of renewable capacity. That's low because wind is low, and we also are getting rain again in Texas. So our total demand, it's down. It's down over 2,000 megawatts here. It is now forecast to be only 68,000, about 500 megawatts. So prices are really low in ERCOT this morning. It is currently trading around $22.75. So natural gas is close to getting about 50% of the fuel mix because lower wind. And it's currently right now running at 27,500 megawatts. That's good news for natural gas. And let's take a look at the pain threshold. It's PJM today, expected to be over $1,000 today at 1,073. Again, MISO here also looking about $900. NYISO New York about 600, and the rest of them are fairly muted here. But we did see some spikes here this morning at SPP over $300 here. So ERCOT low, CalSO California low, SPP spiking, PJM and MISO and NYISO are the pain thresholds today in the power markets. Let's turn to the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. And as you can see, this is below normal around Lake Erie and Ontario. So that's not good news here for the natural gas market. Again, our population weighted demand here for natural gas is right here, Chicago to New York to Boston. So this is near normal or below normal, slightly below normal here, all the way from the Dakotas back into New England. Above normals here, just Pacific Northwest, parts of Texas and Florida. So not good news for natural gas on the temperature outlook. Let's take a look at the extreme heat risk here. And as you can see, there's a little bit of extreme heat risk. Again, in the upper Midwest, this is an inverted weather pattern here because the warmest temperatures relative to normal are to the north, whereas the south is doing okay. And let's take a look at going into Thursday. This is pushing back toward the East Coast here. That's where my PJM is having some struggles here today. And then continuing into Friday, into Saturday, very warm here, other than New York up to Boston. And then on Sunday, that cooler weather starts to push into the Great Lakes. And as you can see, the warmer temperatures are really contained between Texas, Nebraska, all the way back to the southeast and Virginia. That continues as we get into Tuesday, the 21st. Let's take a look at the weather models here, and let's push it all the way out to the 22nd here. And as you can see, this is the heat risk. The heat risk is contained within Texas up to Nebraska or Kansas here, and then back over to the southeast up toward Virginia. Here's that cooler weather coming through at the end of the forecast period. And as you can see here, as we get right at the end, our warmest temperatures, desert Southwest up to the Midwest, over toward South Carolina and Florida. So this is relatively cooler weather here from Chicago back to New York and Boston. So that's not good news for natural gas, although production here is running around 111, 112. LNG is running only about 16 and a half, 17 BCF. Let's take a look at the Dutch TTF. This is the tidal transfer facility. This is in dollars per MMBTU. Yesterday, this jumped up 2%, 2.2%. The RSI is still open to the upside. Why? Strait of Hormuz is still closed. So that's not good news for Europe because storage is really quite low relative to history here. Let's take a look at the weather here going forward for Europe. Very warm temperatures here still in France. They do get some relief here by the 18th and 19th. That's good news for France and Germany. Warmer temperatures pushed to the south here. Cooler temperatures coming in, similar to the United States. Cooler temperatures here in Germany, Poland, all the way down into Romania. That's good news for the European market. They could use some relief here from the summer heat, especially in France. There is some warmer temperatures that do show up, but look at the end of the month here. It's relatively mild. Excuse me, that's the start all the way again, but as the end of the month comes out, you can see it is relatively mild for France. That's good news there. And let's take a look at the storage in the EU. Again, we're over 52% full, but we've got some problems. We've got United Kingdom only at 22%, Ukraine, of course, because of the war, Belgium 27, Netherlands at 30%. Best one, Portugal. Yeah, 90%, and Poland is doing fantastic as well. So we've got some problems across the EU. We'll see how they get through the rest of summer. They've got very little time left here, less than 3 months to go. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they better hurry up and use this cooler weather that's coming through. Let's take a look at Asia. This is the weather anomaly map here. And again, this is very similar to seasonal temperatures that we've seen in the last few weeks here. Warmer temperatures do show up here tomorrow, but you can see it's basically from Shanghai back up toward Beijing where we start seeing these warmer temperatures coming in from the west here, and that's okay. The south is doing fairly seasonal, and there are some cooler temperatures actually showing up in the forecast here. So as we get closer and closer toward the end of the month, it looks like it gets a little bit warmer again between Shanghai and capital city of Beijing. And let's take a look at the LNG. Let's take a look at Calcasieu Pass here. And as you can see, this only one tanker here. They've got loading for 2 at this point, but there's only one tanker. Let's see if there's another tanker here. It's not showing it. So it's just this one right now. They've got berths for 2. This has been standard for the last couple of weeks. And we'll take a look at that feed gas demand. You can see that in a minute. Let's take a look at Cameron here is 1.5 out of 1.56, doing very, very well. Freeport still has maintenance here. We're over 1 BCF, but barely. That means at least one full train is down of capacity. And here is Creole Trail, and that's ramping up. So there's only 57,000 of open capacity there. That's doing very well after the work at the Gillis compressor station. But over at Corpus Christi, we still have some work to do here. We're only at 2.35 out of 2.75, so they're still ramping up yet another train. So that's good news over at Corpus Christi. We'll see if that narrows over the next few weeks. And here's Venture Global. This is Calcasieu Pass, as we talked about. Again, still open capacity of over 400,000 MMBTU. So maybe it's because that second berth is not being used at this time. Let's look over at Plaquemines, and it's over nameplate capacity. Over 4 BCF here. That's fantastic news. Still cranking it out. This is more of a modular LNG facility. And Golden Pass, well, it's dipped a little bit overnight here, going from over 500,000 down to about 335,000 MMBTUs out of 800 to 850,000 MMBTUs. So it's eased up a little bit. There is no tanker berth at the dock yet. And let's take a look at the U.S. nuclear fleet. We're running at just 1 gigawatt. That is offline as of today. That's really good news here. We've got a little bit of an outage here at Susquehanna. It's only 0.5%. That's new. And let's take a look at the tropics. We've got a tropical update here. We've got a low chance of development possibly forming here tomorrow or today, and then maybe developing over next week here, somewhere between the west coast of Florida and South Carolina. That's the first thing we've seen in weeks. And why? Look at the Saharan air layer. It's like Billy Idol, right? With a rebel yell. She cried, more, more, more. We're going to get more dust coming through. We're getting plenty of it here in Texas, making life a little bit miserable. So there's plenty of dust across the Caribbean and the mid-Atlantic that's going to inhibit any tropical development anytime soon. And let's take a look at the stocks here. Mixed bag here today. It looks like we're just slightly positive. Magnolia behind me here, down just 0.4%. And let's recap here for the spot August natural gas contract. We're currently trading at $2.8790, down 2.5 cents or 0.86%. The RSI is approaching oversold condition, but we need some help from storage. Again, expectations between 40 and 45 BCF, which is comparable to both last year at 47 and the 5-year average at 45 BCF. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.